So what it comes down to, the most important, fundamental, core question, who am I? And people, we have philosophers and people in the past who have really gone into this, but because of our society, we don't even think about it, right? We're worried about the car payment, not about who we are. But I'm about to explain why it matters that we ask who we are. Marianne Williamson, A Return to Love. Here she comes again. Okay. She says, our self-perception, right? Who am I? Who do I think I am? Our self-perception. Our self-perception determines our behavior. If we think we're small, limited, inadequate creatures, then we tend to behave that way. And the energy we radiate reflects those thoughts, no matter what we do. If we think we're magnificent creatures with an infinite abundance of love and power to give, then we tend to behave that way. Once again, the energy around us reflects our state of awareness. Okay. Socrates said, know thyself. Right? What else did Socrates say? The unexamined life is not worth living. Okay? So, how we answer this question, who am I? It's a total game changer, right? Marianne Williamson just said it. And she said it better than I could, so I quoted her. It not only changes what we do, but it changes how we do it. It changes the intention. It changes the energy. It changes everything. This is the foundation, right? Who am I? It's the foundation of our life. That's why it's important. Here's the thing. Most of us define who we are based off of our ego. Because that's who I am. Because we're in a hamster wheel. So of course who I am is the house I have, or the car I drive, or the job I have. Because this is life. I don't actually get contemplative, so I can't go any deeper than what's right here. Eckhart Tolle says, the most common ego identifications have to do with possessions, the work you do, social status and recognition, knowledge and education, physical appearance, special abilities, relationships, personal and family history, belief systems, and often political, nationalistic, racial, religious, and other collective identities. None of these is you, right? But all of that is our ego. That's how we identify, because we're still in the wheel. But we're so much bigger than all those things, right? When we're answering the question, who am I? We can't, you can't just say mom. I can't just say healer, right? These are impermanent. We're something bigger, okay? If your identity is just as mom, what happens when your kid dies, right? God forbid. What happens when you're an empty nester? This is why people shatter, because that's their identity. And now it's ripped out, and what do I do? Who am I? And for me, if I just say my identity is a healer, oh my God, they didn't get better. Someone came in for a session and they left the same. My identity is shattered. Like, I'd be a hot mess all day long. We're more than these things, right? We have to look beyond. So I got some questions to aid you in your quest for self-realization. All right, who am I besides the thing I know and the roles I play? What am I besides the work I do? What is my true nature? Favorite question ever. What is my purpose for being here? For the sake of time, we're not going to do it, but I had told Shannon that I was going to do this segment, and she was like, oh, you have to play the clip from The Lion King, and it's so good. It's so good, and it's only a couple minutes. We could maybe do it. There's so much more I want to get to. But do you know the scene? Rafiki? And he's like, remember who you are. Do you know that scene? It's so good. Go home and watch The Lion King. It's like, he's like sitting there meditating, and I'm like, I want to be Rafiki. What is this guy? Okay, he's not a guy. But that scene is so beautiful. There are so many parallels to what we're talking about, right? Remember who you are. So to gain that framework, how do we do that? How do we remember who we are? That's what we've been talking about. It's the 8 limbs of yoga. It's the 7 chakras. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's self-actualization. It's the 7 I already said all this, but it's the 7 sacraments. It's the 7 trees, or it's the 7 levels of the tree of life. All these parallels, they're all roads that lead you to who you are. So who are you? You are a sacred and worthy child of the universe. You are a temple of the Holy Spirit. You are made in the image of God, and you are on a path toward divine union. The Christians and the Hindus teach that you are, or that you have the potential to be one with God. Jesus made very, very fascinating statements in John 17, especially verse 21, especially verse 26, where, Father, let them be one with us, with me. As you and I are one, let them be one. Okay? This isn't some Hindu thing. This is very Christian as well. The Buddhists, we're one with all, right? The New Agers, you are God. So whatever framework you want, this is big news. The Greek Orthodox Church teaches this concept of deification, that we are a microcosm of God, right? And Eastern spirituality says the same thing, that we're a microcosm of the universe, right? So Rumi said, you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in a drop. Sorry, John Wesley, but we aren't sinners in the hands of an angry God. We are beautiful, radiant children of God who are dearly loved. God is for you and not against you. The universe is on your side. You are innately good and not innately bad. That changed my life. That shift. Similarly, right, your body has the natural tendency toward health, toward self-repair, toward homeostasis. These are subtle shifts that make big differences in the mindset, big differences in life, in priorities, in the day-to-day. So like I said, I'm preparing for this retreat, and I'm like, God, who are we? And I'm reading these books, and so, of course, I read Ramana Maharishi's book, and I'm like, okay, where is it in a sentence? What is it? So his answer is, pure awareness is who I am. And I'm like, oh God, okay. But, so there you go, all right? But this is what happens. If we try to put it in a sentence, of course it's like, you can't put it in a sentence. But I'm going to try, so it's going to sound really weird and really cliche. Okay? Gangaji. Well, I have a better quote somewhere. Oh, I don't remember who said it. Somebody said, who was it? Doesn't matter. Somebody said, when you're answering this question of who am I, you really can't answer it with words. You just can't. And it's an experience, it's a feeling, it's a mental and spiritual state that don't be so concerned about words. But Gangaji, she's another spiritual teacher. She's modern. She says, no one has ever reported an end to realizing the true self. Rumi, my fave, he says, do you know what you are? You are a manuscript of a divine letter. You are a mirror reflecting a noble face. The universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything you want, you are already that. The founder of Aikido said, you are here to realize your inner divinity and manifest your innate enlightenment. Hafiz said, I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. Yogi Bhajan said, you are very powerful, provided how powerful you are. Provided you know how powerful you are. Of course, we give this Marianne Williamson quote that I've been saving all weekend, that is the most known and the most powerful and plugs in right here in the perfect way. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I? To be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Here is the ultimate epitome of what I'm saying. This is probably the most beautiful analogy I've ever come across. And I originally found it in Gabrielle Bernstein's book. Which book was it? I don't know. But then since then I've read other books and I found the analogy and I've seen it everywhere. So I don't know, I can't quote an author, but I'm going to tell you the story because this story is powerful and it's beautiful. And it took place in the 1950s. And it was in Bangkok. And it was this group of monks, okay? And they've had this temple. And the government is building a highway. And it's going to go right through the temple. So the temple has to be relocated, right? So they're moving everything. And they have this huge, they're Buddhist monks, right? They have this huge clay statue of the Buddha that they have to transport. And so, it's on the forklift or it's on whatever, and they're moving it to this new location, and in the process it cracks. And this is bad news, like big deal. Like the Buddha just cracked, like their statue, right? It's raining, like it's terrible that this is all going on. They're covering the Buddha in tarps, trying to keep him dry. And by then it's the end of the day, so they go to bed. The main monk is so concerned about the statue, right? That he gets a flashlight and he pulls the tarps back and he's looking because he wants to see what's going on and how bad it is. And he pulls the tarps back and he shines the flashlight and he doesn't know why there's a reflection that's coming back to him. And he looks closer and he's looking at this crack and he realizes that this clay, that this mud, that this Buddha that was made out of grime is made out of pure gold, actually. What they thought was the statue wasn't the statue at all. And the only thing that they can come up with for how did all this happen was that, like decades prior, Burmese soldiers had attacked that area. And so all the monks at that time were either killed, they became prisoners of war, or they fled, right? But they knew that these Burmese soldiers didn't give a crap about Buddha, but they would want the gold. So they covered this statue in mud, okay? Hoping that it wouldn't be taken, and it wasn't. But then these new monks come in and nobody's there to tell them that the Buddha is made of gold. All they know is what they see on the outside. Do you see parallels? We are born, right? And then we start going through crap. And we start having experiences. And we start getting hurt. And just shit starts happening. And it's this mud. And it's this grime. And it's this clay. And it covers us. And it's all people see. It's all we see. It's all we know. Right? It's our ego. It's all self-made. It's all, it's very shallow and very superficial. What I've been meditating on and what I realized beyond what I've read about this story, I realized ego versus spirit. We operate from the ego, and it's this clay. And the clay wishes that it was gold. Right? The clay wants to be recognized. The clay wants to be big shit. Right? A big deal. That's the ego. But that's not us. we're the actual gold. That's our true identity. That's our actual essence. What we want, we already are. Oh my God. What? The thing is, it's this mud. It's this grime. It's this clay. It's our thoughts. It's our emotions, our weaknesses, our negative experiences, our lack mentality, our ugly insecurities, our sinful habits, our flaws, our roles, our mistakes, our miserable reactions, our anger. We think that we are these things. But that's the mud. And that's not who we are. There's a Kundalini meditation where you inhale and you say, I am not my body. And you exhale and you say, I'm not even the mind. You are something beyond all these things. You are that golden Buddha, right? The gold. It's as if we've been in a very bright room, but we've had our hands over our eyes and we've been complaining about how dark it is, right? And the thing is, like, these limitations, this mud, this grime, this clay, it can limit you for a lifetime, or it can be broken in an instant. In one moment. Like, change, it's spontaneous. It's gradual too, but there is an element of spontaneous breakthrough change, right? Where we have that moment of enlightenment, where you're meditating, where you're taking care of yourself in some way, and you're like, whoa, I just tapped into the gold. Oh my God, that's who I am. Word that experience in whatever way you want. But that's what it is. That is self-care.